Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Monday to you. Live here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern on the Film Guy Network. Little spoiler alert, we're not actually live. We're going to be watching some film tonight. But it is an MBR format to start the show because there was news this weekend as G-Day happened. I told you Thursday, right? The portal was opening April 15th, which means as guys were walking onto G-Day, would probably be their last time playing in a Georgia uniform, hitting the portal this coming week, right? We expected some portal activity, and then boom, Saturday morning, about 1 o'clock, I think it was. Okay, Bear Alexander hits the portal out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere. Nobody heard about it. Nobody knew about it. Not something that we heard an inkling of. But here's what I'll give you about Bear, okay? I was always asked, like, Brooks, how'd you miss, right? Because that is a guy that came onto the scene immediately as a freshman, and he's like, hey, that's a guy, right? A sack in the national championship, 2 sacks total, a couple of TFLs, flashing on the field as a freshman. People ask me, hey, there's no way. How did you miss that? Like that should have been easy. Like that was nowhere on your eval. Where was it at? And my kind of excuse, if you would, or my answer at that point would always be some type of reasoning for what I'm about to kind of call back now. I would always say it was impossible to evaluate Bear from an outsider's perspective, from my perspective, because there was no huddle. There were so many different high schools that there was no huddle. There was only about 90 seconds available, and it was sophomore tape. We had no idea what this football player was. He goes down to IMG Academy, finishes up his career, and comes up to Georgia and looks good and looks like dang near like he's going to be the next one as a true freshman. And then out of nowhere, he hits the portal. And I've got to say, it wasn't really out of nowhere. Not for people like me. I mean, the idea that it happened, the suddenness of it was out of nowhere. But this has been mercenary behavior from Bear Alexander. We're talking 4 high schools, almost 5 in 4 years of high school. Like this has been around. And for that matter, I missed on the one previous. Jermaine Burton was mercenary behavior. That was 4 high schools in 4 years. So as soon as something goes awry or as soon as something doesn't, hey, next up, I'm talented. Who wants me? Kind of deal, right? Same thing, same type of behavior. So when this happens, when Bear Alexander hits the portal, we should not become like shocked or we should not be searching for answers when the behavior has already been there, right? The behavioral characteristics have always been there. Multiple schools, heck, multiple commitments. There was a Texas A&M commitment at their point in that recruitment, right? There was a Georgia commitment, decommitment, A&M commitment, decommitment, Georgia commitment. There has been flippy-floppy mercenary behavior from the entire get-go from Bear Alexander. So we cannot be surprised, and Georgia can't be surprised when these types of things happen, which is why I think Saturday afternoon after G-Day scrimmage, when you heard Kirby Smart asked about such a topic, it was, hey, this is the world we live in. It is the world we live in, and it is the world they put themselves in recruiting talents like this. This happens, right? It's going to happen. You can't be shocked. You just have to move on from it when it happens. Welcome in. Got a great show for you guys planned today. We are going to be watching some G-Day film. I got to thinking about it. Hey, we've been loading up MBRs Monday, Tuesday, Thursday for you guys all off season. Been pumping out a bunch of content here, but G-Day comes around and it's like, hey, that's our football. Like we actually have football here. Brooks doesn't have to talk to us anymore. He can speak to us through football terms. We don't have to listen to MBR anymore. We can watch film, right, Brooks? Correct, for the most part. We're going to get into it today. We're going to watch it. I think we're going to break this down. Usually I would do like offense, defense. We would do some like overarching theme. I don't think that's what we need to do. I think for evaluation purposes, I think it would be best for us to go position by position and just attack it that way, right? And, of course, we're going to start with quarterbacks. So we're going to go quarterbacks. I will promise you right now, don't ask for wide receiver or defensive back breakdowns. Okay, you're going to be noticing we're watching TV copies. Guess who I don't see in TV copies? 90% of the reps. That's right. Wide receivers and defensive backs. So if you're coming here to watch me, talk about such things, not going to happen. But there are some coaching points. There are some things that we can point out with just the TV copies, and I'm excited to do it with you. We got a saying around here. We haven't said it in quite some time, particularly in a public format. We've been doing it behind Patreon all off season. Hey, let's shut up. Let's grind some tape. Man, we got some good football to look at, man. We got some really, really good stuff to look at as well. I will tell you what, if you guys saw it from this guy on Saturday, he will constantly play on time and to an extreme, never really to a detriment, but he will always get the ball out of his hands when he needs to. Okay, it's not just about protecting yourself, okay, or having good offensive linemen that can protect you. It's also about playing on time within yourself, right? So when you take the snap and you start to realize, hey, everyone's off of the line of scrimmage. There is a bunch of zone coverage, a bunch of zone drops in front of me. Okay, I don't need to be holding the ball on 2nd and 7. I need to live to fight another down and get into a 3rd and manageable. And by the way, this 32 guy, he's been doing this, what he's about to do all spring. He's been getting contact at +5 and turning it into a +11-yard gain. That is what Cash Jones was all about all spring. Again, they know this. All right? And even Carson Beck, his first couple of years playing scout team football, or even as a 2 last year, definitely getting some run with Cash Jones and getting some equity, if you will, some sweat equity with Cash Jones. Always playing on time, and it's important. And this is how I know as an evaluator that you are a processor, right? If you're coming down to the line of scrimmage, this depth right here from these linebackers is just slightly off. But something about Xavier Sori's, whether it be eyes, alignment, posture, something about him is about to tell Carson Beck, hey, we need to probably be alert to him. We need to probably slide our protection because we are passing the football to 18. So what he's going to do is he's going to walk down. He's going to say, Mike 18. How did he know? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. This is how I know this guy cares about football. It's how I know this guy's an elite processor. He finds things that ultimately happen right in front of him. So as soon as he snaps the football, down set hut, here comes 18, boom. But guess what? It's picked up, right? This has been a football team in Georgia that has been a really, really elite blitzing team from A-gap to, or B-gap to B-gap, rather, with their linebackers capturing edges on lesser athletic horizontally guards, right? Guards, big offensive guards are not good going this way, east or west and east, right? East and west. They're not good going this way. They are good going what? North and south. That's right. So if we get a smaller, more athletic guy to kind of attack him this way, we can win. That's exactly what they're trying to do here. But if we take out the suddenness, if we take out the lack of preparedness from Xavier Truss there, and we give him the easy, clear getaway, hey, 18's your guy, it makes that pocket nice and clean. It gives us the time to deliver that strike to Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint, which, by the way, is not the primary read. The primary read, okay, is that go ball from Ladd McConkey. This is essentially, guys, this is a different way of getting into it. This is a very similar route concept as what they ran, in the national title game against TCU for a wide open touchdown, right? It is a cover 3 attacker. All right. If you don't get that cover 3, we got to sit down and see what we got for Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. We're getting man, all right, as they run across, right? Nyland tracks with them the whole time. So we don't have that zone beater. Let's find the man beater. Well, what is the man beater? Probably the corner playing on the hip of the wide receiver running that comeback. Great ball right there from Carson. And if you watch it, okay, it's hard to see from the back, but the back, it looks clear. His eyes are in one spot the whole time. He's reading go ball back down to comeback. All right, there from Marcus. Great route getting into the window. All right, we're going to talk wide receivers maybe a little bit as they come up here, guys, because I told you we're not going to be able to do it. But it's a great job getting into this window of this corner because we know we're attacking here. So we want to get into the up on top of them, right? But stay on this inside. We don't want to get back in here because we're fighting back out this way, right? It's a great job getting into that window where he cannot see us, all right, and getting him into trail position and then snapping it off. Bam. All right, puts Kamar Lassiter in a really, really tough position. Get a replay there. Let's go to 101. I think it's the clip right here. They've had this in the book for years, all right? They ran this against Ohio State earlier in the year. This is basically, all right, we're clearing out with Ladd. We're trying to push this corner to convert here and take that vertical, receiver with him. There's a safety in the middle of the field. We're trying to occupy him with Ladd as well. We have what's called a deep over, or as Kirby Smart likes to call it, a dover right here from the X, or in this case, Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. That would have been A.D. Mitchell in years past, right? So that's the concept. We got that vertical clear out route, if you will, from Ladd McConkey. And then here, we got kind of an isolated up at like a win route. We're trying to win right now against this outside linebacker who's in one-on-one coverage with Brock Bowers. Not really a winnable position for Darius Smith there. This is why I found it funny when people were on Twitter or people were on the message boards or wherever you ingest your Georgia content, when they're out here talking nonsense about Mike Bobo. Guys, they're running the same shit. They're running the same stuff. I can show you the same exact clip right here, this same exact play against Ohio State. I can show it to you. I can put it right on, except the only difference is, Stetson Bennett hits the deep over from Kearis Jackson to start the football, or from A.D. Mitchell to start the football game. That's the only difference, okay? These plays have been installed. Here's a good look at it, right? There's the Dover from the X, right? There's that deep over from the X. It's the same concepts. They're running it. Don't let @dogs5967 that just has all these horrible glory or horror moments of Mike Bobo stored in their memory do too much to you this season, okay? Because they're going to be around. All right, every time it looks stagnant, which by the way, in years past, there were times under Todd Monken where it looked stagnant too, right? So just come on now. All right, again, hey, speaking of the same thing, they're running a little bit different. This looks a little bit different to me. This is Anthony Evans here. This is the H in Lawson Lucky here. The package looks a little different, but they're doing the same concepts in terms of, hey, we're going to give you it's waggle basically, right? We're going to give you a delayed arrow route here. We're going to give you the comeback from Marcus or from Denylon Morris said the X down there or the Z down there on the bottom, right? They've been running waggle since Todd Monken took over. It's the same concept, guys. The only difference is, hey, quarterback, we got to read the progression, man. We got to read the progression. Check this out, okay? This is our bailout guy. He's last, all right? We work top down. We go one. Oh, I don't know what's going on with my numbers here. We go one, okay, to two, to three, to option out, all right? That's normally the progression. And if you look through the progression, if we don't sprint out through the progression, which we're going to talk here in a second, check out Jackson Meeks, all right? Now, I know we can do this hindsight, Monday morning quarterback stuff. But as you can see, I know the TV copy was a little bit late to pick it up. But if you find Jackson Meeks earlier in this clip, you will see that he's got leverage and he's got green grass in front of him that this ball should have been thrown to, right? The other thing, hey, 12, super, super athlete, right? Get that ball in the belly. Do not sacrifice this because look at this. That's where we should be, okay? This is where we should be, all right? But sacrificing this movement, sacrificing this depth gets us really, really sharp right here. Okay, and what it does is it runs us out past the window of where Jackson is on this deep over, as opposed to using our athleticism to, hey, get ground, man. Get real, real deep. Get back there, all right? So by the time we get there, boom, look how fast we've ran past the circuit, right? Look how fast we've ran past the concept, rather, right? Here is our eventual winner. And these are all supposed to be relatively on the same levels for us, right? If we are actually at this launch point. Or rather, if we're actually here working down as opposed to here working down. Guys, I separated a difference in matter of that right there at the top of the play action fake, and that is the difference at the bottom of the action once we work out. It's the little things, right? It's the little things. I don't know why I zoomed all the way up there. We're going to go to 332. Or actually, we're going to go to 304. It's interesting for me to watch Brock play and listen to Brock after the game because I know listening to him, he knows that this is bad for his game. In other words, like, hey, as soon as I get to the top of the drop, the primary read's gone, I'm going to tuck and run. He knows this is not how he needs to play the quarterback position. If you listen to his interview with us after the game or for his presser availabilities after the game, he will say, I cannot survive playing football running off of the back of my drop, right? Literally getting to the back of the top of my drop, seeing the primary read, which in this case on 2nd and 10 is to use leverage right here to Lawson Lucky, throw him out and in front and in open and allow him to turn up and at least get us into a 3rd and 6, okay, or at least into a 3rd and 4, something advantageous. As soon as we look that off and it's not right, okay, we have to get off that one read onto 2, onto 3, maybe to 4, okay, and then tuck and run, right? Or then create with our legs. Whereas opposed to this, which is Brock still doing, hey, as soon as we get off of 1, boom, we tuck, we find grass, and we run to it. All right, that's great, but how can we learn to maybe get past this defender and then get lateral and still try to throw bombs downfield? You see what I'm saying? Like that type of evolvement in Brock's game is great. It would be great. This is great too. Just saying, hey, shut up. put the ball down and run 20 yards. Like that's good. That's quality college football. That's quality offense. That's going to progress and move the chains. Eventually, they'll put a spy on you. Okay, eventually they would. And I think that's what he understands is, hey, I can't play football like that, even though I can play football like that, if that makes any sense at all, what I just said. Hey, it's the right read right here. This is the post ball to Jackson Meeks here. What happens here, I believe the safety comes down. I can't quite remember. It's in my notes here. I should just read my notes, dude. The safety comes down to take Lawson Lucky. Okay, if you look back into the all right, here we go. All right, look. There is a safety right here that comes down into the hook window. Now, number 20, who is Ja'Cory Thomas, he's out of your screen. You can't quite see him. He's right there. But they're driving vertically with Lawson Lucky, and these guys have been playing Lawson Lucky all spring and all fall, and they know, hey, that's like their guy. These backup quarterbacks, and anytime he's in the on the field with the backups, like Lawson's the primary target. So the safety jumps down on this. So by the time you actually see Ja'Cory or Jackson Meeks run into your screen, there is no safety presence over the top of him. It's just A.J. Harris playing basically what is extended one-on-one. It's cover 3, but it's zone match, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? This safety came down to play Lawson Lucky. So there is no safety in the middle of the field. And before we got here and paused it, you could kind of tell, hey, Jackson had a step on him going this way. If you're going to miss anywhere, we cannot miss here. We have to miss here, right? The whole reason you're throwing this ball is because the safety came down on Lawson Lucky, or else you'd be throwing the ball to Lawson Lucky, right? If the safety went back into the middle of the field where he's supposed to be and covered the post, you would have been hitting the seam shot right here to Lawson. Okay, but since you are not, hey, let's throw the ball this way. Let's not throw the ball back this way. All right, if we're going to miss, first of all, let's not miss. But if we're going to miss, let's miss out in front, not behind. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. Pause it right here. Look, we have ground. We have ground this way. Again, that's the whole reason. You're reading this guy. You're reading the front side safety. The whole reason you're throwing this ball is because that front side safety sucked up. So I'm not happy with the miss. I'm even less happy with where we missed. Okay. Let's not miss up the seam. Let's miss towards the pylon, away from defenders. Let's go to 413. See, this is why I asked Brock, like, don't you wish sometimes you were live? Because they give a RPO, basically what is a read option with the keep. It's like H read option, basically, right? We're going to swing the H here. We're going to keep him for either this defender who we leave free or this, probably most likely this defender. Nonetheless, we have a +1, right? We have a +1 front side. So even if we see a front side read defender sit there and key like this right here, even if we see this, we're okay. We're okay because we got him. And I'm going to tell you right now, in a real game, this looks really, really good. This looks really, really good front side. I just don't know if they even keep it. See what I'm saying? They gave it to Gunner later. It's so hard for me to sit here, for anyone to sit here, and it's why I still think like there is a reason why you should still have like real optimism that there is not only a quarterback. It was Carson Beck's show on Saturday. Do not get me wrong, but it was Carson Beck's environment. Okay, this is a dude, and so is the other dude that kind of needs live whistles, kind of needs live play, kind of needs live bullets. All right, if you're just gonna give him like never allow him to run, never put him in the game script as a threat with his legs, like we're not fully unlocking what he is. Even though, like, don't get me wrong, these are not Cam Newton football players. We're talking about like 6, 7, 8 plays per game, right? That's the difference. That you're not going to call maybe necessarily for Carson Beck, that you will for these guys to utilize their legs and their running ability. Well, we're not seeing those 6, 7 plays. So maybe 3rd and 12s that we're going to watch here are actually in real life, like in a real game when whistles are blowing, maybe they're really like 3rd and 7s, which changes the whole dichotomy of football. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're watching this or if you're experiencing this as an evaluator, you cannot sit here and say, well, that is the full finished product. That's what I need to evaluate everything off of, because that's not true, right? It's just it's about 75% of the evaluation. And there you go. That's all I got to say about that. Let's get back to the film. just the cheeky reverses. I didn't necessarily love those on Saturday. They changed the action a little bit too. We'll talk about that later in the week. I would imagine when we start talking about run game, and maybe I'll give you guys a full breakdown of what I think's changed. Even though I've already told you I don't think much has changed. Even though I do like this out of Tripp's bunch, not necessarily duos. Okay, what they're going to do is they're going to motion Lawson Lucky down, and I think they're going to fake truck sweep into the boundary. Yep. Okay. Here's my thing, guys. I like this. Okay, out of Tripp's bunch because all we're trying to do is get everyone kind of stacked up and then kind of do this action, right? All right. We're trying to do this action. And we're trying to give our quarterback a lot of immediate options while trying to stress these guys into sorting it out as much as we possibly can. So if we were to run this guy over here and just do something simple like run him a drag, all right, and then maybe run him a hook, and then, yeah, you can press that guy vertically, whatever the options are with the swing route off here. We've got to give the defense more and more to look at here, so we might sneak one in. If I remember correctly, and I'm pretty, again, like I tweeted the other day, I'm pretty astute at these types of football observations. They almost exclusively ran Tripp's bunch truck sweep play action, like in Tripp's bunch. They never ran it really into duos for this purpose. Like, I don't think there's 4 defenders on the midline of the football over here. And when you toss one, you're definitely bringing him. All right. So they have now had the ability to play basically more defenders than you have running routes into the scheme. So, yeah, no duh. By the time 3 seconds in the top of the drop hits, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, like, we're getting hit because there's nobody open, right? There's nobody open. That's a need to clean up type of deal here for me. If I'm just looking at it from a concepts basis, we do not have enough immediate open guys off of a truck action. And maybe I can't see it because we're not looking at the all 22. Maybe Lawson ran to some green grass right there. Maybe Cole Spear or whoever, 83, I think it's Cole Spear, is running to grass. I can't see it because we don't have the full 22. I'm just telling you, years past, that's been a Tripp's bunch action, not a duos action. And what do I mean by that, guys? Duos, right? There are 2 guys down here, 2 guys down here. I call that duos, whereas I told you, I'd like to see it as a Tripp's bunch into the boundary. Put as many bodies down there as we legally can and stress that defense as much as we can. We are going to go to 501 right quick. Oh, ain't a damn thing you can do for 3rd and 17. That's all the notes said. I don't even know why we got to look at it. I want to show you some maturation in quarterback play. Some maturation in some quarterback play. Hey, coach throwing a little trick play up in spring ball, right? That's what we trying to show everybody. We got tricks up the sleeve. We're trying to get the fans excited. We're trying to have a good time. Nope, not for 15. That is a mature football decision. It's a boring football decision. And I promise you, there are times in this guy's career and in his starts this year, and I think he's going to be a 1-year starter. I think he's an NFL football player. But there are going to be times in this year's starts where you're like, dang, dude, quit checking the freaking football down, because there are going to be teams that just back off of him. And you know what? This is the type of dude that he's fine with it. Like, if y'all want to play him, he's got to complete 8 balls and just march it down the football field. He's comfy. He's cozy. He's going to do it, right? It's no problem for him. It doesn't bother him to do such type of football play. Give me 1 second. I got to refresh my screen here. I don't like that little premium button up at the top. You guys be pocket watching all the time on here, letting y'all know that I pay for my YouTube. That's right. I pay for my Twitter and I pay for my YouTube. Can't hide money. You cannot do it. Let's see here. Let's go to 538, and then I'm going to put the screen back up. I know I'm not sharing it. All right. Let's get it back up. Here we go. Oh, no. Don't you do that to me. See, YouTube be trying to skimp now. If you let them, YouTube be out here skimping. I love the idea. This isn't a switch. They've done this before, but they're basically running a version of a smaller version of waggle into the boundary here. I love this. They're going to motion CJ Smith over, run him on a vertical or some type of clear out route. They're going to do this, but the primary action is to get dealt into the flat here. while also working the Dover from Bowers. So you're working levels essentially, or a waggle concept into the boundary. It's not something you normally do. Normally you run these to the field, and you can tell from the defense's response, they're not typically used to this. Like Delp's wide open. Again, not something that's new. Bobo didn't necessarily invent it. They've been running waggle. They've often run waggle into the boundary. It's just I think they're going to have a better and easier time hiding and slipping guys like Delp this year than they were in years past. It's hard to miss where Darnell Washington goes and runs out of the backfield or off of a flat action like that. Now, I hope anybody that's ever thrown a football can complete this ball, because this is an absolute cook job from 84. They're showing what looks to be zone coverage here from these linebackers, and Darius takes a reroute number 2 type of drop like he is running zone coverage. But I'm here to tell you, this safety over here, which is David Daniel, number 14, he's essentially in man coverage with Ladd McConkey, and Ladd gives him a double move, and you're going to receive the results at the top of this route. This isn't offensive coordinating. This isn't anybody. This isn't the quarterback. This is Ladd McConkey being great. All right, and the TV doesn't see it. I saw it from the box. It's the only way I know I can tell you this, and it's that right there. All right, it's 7 yards of separation because 84 ran a damn crisp route. I can't show it to you. I can't quantify it. Just trust me. You take my word for it. He ran a double move, and he ran it perfectly. He ran it with this guy's leverage, so he ran it back down as opposed to running it back up this way. You know what I mean? And the quarterback recognized his body language and threw him back down. This was a perfect route and ball from both of these guys. And because of the TV copy, because we don't get the all 22, you don't really get a chance to fully appreciate it. But again, just take my word for it. We got to look at it here, but you're not seeing anything but the result. You're seeing the quarterback staring at him, and you see all that green grass, and you say, how did that happen? 84 cooked. That's how that happened. On a double move, post corner. There you go. See, you saw 84 with the or 14 with the speed turn right there in the replay. All right, this is what this means. Boom. Uh-oh, my boy, you just got sold on the post. You're going to see him speed turn back to the corner here. That is a dead giveaway of a safety that just got beat. All right, we got some young football players on the field. Gunnar Stockton or the back goes the wrong way here. Somebody goes the wrong way. All right, quarterback's opening up to his left. Running back taking the ball fake to his right. That is why we don't see any change in depth from these two linebackers. Nobody's buying that fake, guys. We got to get that cleaned up. Unless we're aborting the fake for pressures, which we are not here. We are not. I thought it was unfortunate that the quarterback I felt like we really didn't get to evaluate was this guy Saturday because of this right here. Every time he got to the top of his drop, he was getting speed rushed. I mean, dudes were getting edges on these two third-string tackles like nobody's business. We'll talk about those guys when we get to the offensive line kind of evaluation, but it was not great. It was not great from the threes on Saturdays. I thought the twos held up exceptionally well. I thought the twos were about as good as any twos group or any ones group rather in the SEC. That twos group is really, really solid. The threes group is obviously where it falls off. Most programs, it falls off after two, to be honest with you. I thought for it, and this is what I'm talking about, this speed rush was happening every single time. I had a buddy of mine who played quarterback in high school and college text me and say, hey, is his drop just too shallow? And I'm looking at it right here. He's at the 31. By the top of his drop right here, he's at the, I mean, he's getting 4.5 yards, guys. He's getting to the top of his drop. He's gaining plenty of ground. The right tackle is just getting spun, okay? Chad Lindbergh's getting spun right here by a guy in Damon Wilson, who, by the way, was a my guy, or a wife scout, rather, was the highest-rated football player we evaluated last class. All right, for this purpose right here, the dude can get after the cue. I mean, he can bend the edge and get after it. So, like, this is actually a relatively decent result for a really unwinnable situation for a young quarterback right here in Gunnar Stockton, all right? This ball is actually not thrown terribly, all right? Let's see if we can actually get it paused for you, all right? He has to step up, even get this ball off. Again, there's that speed rush from the edge. He's got to bump up, boom, give a plus move, get his feet back in the ground, and throw this comeback this way, right? Because the corner's on top of his hips. We got to throw the ball to the sideline towards the sticks, away from the defense. I actually think it ends up in a relatively good spot. I mean, look at that. Boom. That ball is there. It's a good play by A.J. Harris. I think in my notes. No. That's the next one. We got a couple one here in a minute that says I need this ball caught. We had a bust. Um, we had a bust on one of those offensive line wise. Bubba Fades. Okay, I love seeing them try to do this with Delp, show him some love. Right, you see 19's not on the field. They do this with Bowers all the time. Hey, this guy cannot run with you. Okay, not if you press him. If you press his feet, okay, his hips are already turned this way. If you press his feet, give him a little and get back outside. He cannot run with you. You play tight end at the University of Georgia and you're a 4-5 runner. Go get on them toes and go get outside. Now, the difference is 4. We got to find the ball. We got to find the ball 4. I mean, this is a very catchable football at this very moment, right? Just lost it. I don't know if you lost in the sun. I don't know if you lost in the lights. I mean, it's a very identical play. Not the same play, but the idea of attacking and using the boundary and getting our tight end on top of a safety or a linebacker is a very similar concept to what Bowers almost scored on earlier. Okay. Could the ball have been a little more vertical and off of the sideline? Probably. Okay. I think the ball, he's got leverage. The ball could be thrown more this way. Whoop. The ball could hypothetically be thrown more this way. I'm with you. Right. We'll give everybody a miss here. We'll give everybody a little minus. But based off the reaction I saw from Todd Hartley on the sideline, I would say that he expected that ball caught as well. So that would be that. Speaking of that would be that. I think we're going to send you guys home on the YouTube audience. If you're a Patreon subscriber, stick around. We got more for you. All right. If you want to be one, it costs $5 to see the rest of this. We're going to do this with every position group. I told you. And this is typically how it happens. I got 3 or 4 pages of notes. I get a page and a half in, and I got to get going. Or we're already 30 minutes in, and I'm like, all right, I can't be giving it all out. So patreon.com/Brooks Austin. If you've liked what we're doing, you want to keep doing it, we're going to knock out the rest of these quarterback, options the rest of the time. So appreciate you for being here. Love you. See you.